Hello! Today I'm going to show you the self-portrait project my fourth graders do every year. Our district is not a one-to-one district with iPads, so we make do with what we have. We use Microsoft Word, and the artistic effects allow us to make creative self-portraits that fit our needs. I prepare for this project by taking pictures of the students in front of a white backdrop. The backdrop's important because then we don't have to worry about removing the background from our pictures. I will start by opening up a blank document. And when I get to this point, I do make sure that I can see the entire document. So if I can't, I come down and I adjust the size just so that I can see the composition as a whole as I'm working. The next step is I come up to layout, and I'm going to change my margins because with this we want our project to take up as much of the space as we can. So I'm going to go down to custom margins, and I'm going to actually make the top, bottom, left, and right margins all 0. And then hit OK. Oops. I'm going to get this warning now that asks me if I want to change these margins because there's some out of the printable area, and I'm just going to hit ignore. All right, so now I have the entire sheet to work with. When I go to insert my picture, I'm going to go to insert and to pictures. Now usually when I do this with the kids, I make a desktop folder and have all their pictures in there pre-labeled so that it's easy for them to find. I'm going to go up to mine, and I'm going to choose Mrs. Morris 1. And there's my picture. My next step then is I'm going to size my picture so that it is a little bit more of a close-up view of me. I want to try to get rid of as much of the background and below my shoulders as I can. So I'm going to change the height. I'm going to try for about 11.5 inches here. And then you can fix it with wrap text or position to make your picture centered again in your page. I'm just going to fix it with the position. Okay, so now I have my photo and everything is where I want it to be. My next step is I'm going to go up to color, and I'm going to make this black and white because we're going to be printing it off of the copier at the school. So there's going to be no color, so I just take away the color, so that's not even an option in our design. Following that, we go to corrections, and I'm going to go all the way down to picture corrections options. And that's going to open up my window over here on the right-hand side. The first thing I'm going to adjust is the sharpness. And our computers at school run very, very slow, so I have to tell the kids a lot of times when we click something to not keep clicking, to let the computer think, because as you can see right now mine is running pretty slow as well. But I'm going to make my sharpness at 100%. Okay, and then I'm going to move down to the brightness. And the brightness, a lot of times I will start at about 50% just to see where that takes me and adjust from there. That has washed it out a little bit more than I would like, so I'm going to go ahead and make this, let's go with about 35. That gives it a little bit more detail back in there. Following that, I'm going to go down to contrast, and usually same thing, I start with about 50%, see where that gets me. For this, I'm going to go back and change it to, let's go to about 40%. Let's see where that gets us. All right, so that picture looks pretty good for what I need. Basically what I'm looking for is a black and white picture that is mostly black and white with very little of the grays in there. We're trying to kind of just make the contrast very strong. Now comes the fun part. We get to go up, back up here to the top left to artistic effects. And when we click on that, we have a bunch of options open, and you can take your cursor and you can just hover over each picture to get a preview of what it would give you for the design. So there's one for the marker. And again, my computer needs a few seconds to think as we do this, which is why it's a little bit challenging when you're working with 30 students doing this. Pencil grayscale, I let them pick any of these designs that they like. Some of them you can see the face a little bit more than others. I do try to tell them to stick with one that we can at least tell who you are. The only one I do not allow them to do is this one down here. And the only reason that I don't allow them to use this, that you'll see in a minute, there we go, it's a little bit creepy, but I don't allow them to use this because we do a background for this, and if we do the whole thing mostly black, we're not going to be able to see the background. So whenever they find one that they like, they can go ahead and choose it. I'm going to go ahead and choose the cutout one. I like that one. There we go. So once they have this finished, they can go ahead and save back to where I had it saved to begin with, because like I said, I usually, save it into that folder. So they'll save their finished picture here into that same folder. I will then print them out. We've done several things to finish up the project before. I've had them use colored pencils and just color it in how they would like. The results for that were okay. I wasn't thrilled with them. My favorite actually is to print them out on a transparency. And so that way we can do the background separately and just layer the transparency on top. For the background, we've done several things. I have found that it is best to do something that's non-representational. So, basically just colors and patterns, because otherwise I have had them do things in the past before that were like their hobbies or things that interested them, but you lose the focus of the face when that happens. So I've had them do marble painting for the background. I've had them do tissue, bleeding tissue. That's actually my favorite. And I'm going to show you an example of how ours turned out for our art show last year. Okay, these are the finished products from last year in our art show. So you can see how it turned out with the transparency and the colored tissue behind. The kids were very excited about them, the parents were very excited, and they really do make good statement pieces. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.